As we are recording this, we are more than a week into what is being called the largest protests ever. This massive general strike. 250 million Indians have taken to the streets nationwide over the last week to protest agricultural deregulation and other neoliberal policies of Prime Minister Modi's right-wing Hindu nationalist government. I want to show you a little bit of what it looks like, because it's not just massive protests, it's also pretty big strike back against the protests, as you'll see. Okay, so look, we can go into some of the reform, some of the economic situations in terms of the recession that have led to so much of this problem. In general, understand that a very large percentage of the entire population of that country is involved in farming in one capacity or another, but it is a much smaller, like with every passing year, a smaller percentage of India's GDP. And there are lots of concerns that not only will these economic issues continue, but in addition, some of the state support in terms of minimum market prices that the Indian government pays for these crops could eventually be taken away, throwing like fuel on the fire of the economic issues that so many millions of people are already experiencing. But really fast, just acknowledge how massive this is. This is a strike almost the size of the United States population that has been going on for more than a week. It is massive.
Yeah. It's difficult to wrap your mind around the sheer volume of humans out there who are saying, listen, if you make these changes, there's no way we can survive. And that sheer number of people is absolutely terrifying. And I don't know, these images are just overwhelming.
Yeah, it's amazing. And every time I see something like this, I just think like, how would our stimulus conversation be different if we had a general strike on this level? Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Anyway, I do want to focus on India. I'm going to think of the US, but already, as you saw in that video, they've been attacked by both police and security forces with things ranging from water cannons to chemical agents, batons, and other weapons. Farmers are being barred from entering the capital. However, hundreds of thousands of them have massed at the entry points to the city, where many of them have built these growing encampments. The negotiations between some of the groups representing the protests are set to resume talks with the government this weekend. Officials have said they will not give in and repeal some of the current laws that are being protested against, but they could compromise on one of the farmers' demands, that is enshrining minimum prices for some crops, what I was referencing before, into law. In the meantime, in the run-up to those the negotiations being resumed, protests have spread beyond New Delhi. Farmers marched and waved banners in the southern states of Kerala and Karnataka, and in the northeastern state of Assam. Sugarcane farmers in Uttar Pradesh, who would be less affected by the farm overhaul, set up a protest camp in solidarity, clogging a central artery on the state's border with Delhi. But in addition, in some embassies in countries around the world, protests have also sprung up around them as well, in solidarity with so many that are fighting against these policies in India. It is amazing. And it's also amazing that, considering the size already, that the government is basically implying like, we're not really going to give in at this point. That's something, considering the size and the willingness thus far for these protests to continue. I wonder in the long term whether they'll be able to actually hold out against that. I mean, it just touches too many different segments of society, too many people. We'll see.
Yep. But they do have like a list of demands. So this isn't just a lot of people saying, yeah, hey, can we get more respect? That's what's about general strikes. You're like wondering, what do you mean if it's a general strike? But they want things like, there's a specific amount of payment that they want for each tax-paying family. When you look at it, it's like $100. Exactly. It's $100. Like,
yeah, and specific reforms of the pension plan and all of that. Yeah, so the way that the protest is being talked about by Modi, by representatives of his government, even in responses to things like Trudeau talked about it a little bit and has been like attacked by all these different representatives of the Indian government, as this is all misinformation. This massive protest is being driven by the fact that they don't really know what's going on, and there are people who are just like getting them like all worked up about nothing. But no, as you say, and look, Al Jazeera's got great write-ups about the protests, The Guardian as well. Common Dreams has a good write-up of some of the demands. you can see that it's very specific stuff about reforming pension plans, like the minimum prices guarantees, a number of things like that. What we are effectively seeing, and it's maybe easier to identify as an outsider to that country, these massive protest movements are always going to be purposefully misconstrued, misrepresented. And we're seeing that right now with this one in the same way that we have with things like Occupy Wall Street, BLM protests this year and things like that.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.